had no plan before, and now I have a plan, which is nice.
Going from 3 to 30K with one offer is like, we don't hear about that very often. What's going on, guys? Andre Hakel Jr. here from Client Ascension, back with another student spotlight interview. Here with my friend Dan to talk about how Dan took an offer from, I think it was like 3 to 3.5K a month to over $30,000 a month in revenue. Just one singular offer after joining Client Ascension. So we're going to get into the full story. And Dan, welcome and congrats on all the success, bro.
Thanks. Appreciate the invite, and the whole experience has been great, so I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what this specific offer is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Dan Saavedra. I'm the founder of Merge Your Data, and we basically do expansion plays for inside of HubSpot. We automate and systemize that. Our offer is a 15% revenue growth in 6 months or less using that methodology.
Oh, wow, dude. Okay, so wait, this is actually funny because I'm pretty much looking for that exact service, and I didn't even know that's what you did. So yeah, maybe talk a little bit more about the service because there's probably people listening in that also need your services.
Yeah, we primarily work with B2B service companies, and I've been consulting for a while inside of HubSpot doing various things. And after getting in Client Ascension, especially looking at and watching Daniel's course specifically in the program, I was able to look back and see exactly what was working with previous engagements and systemize that and make it into an offer. And basically, what that looks like is going back through people's data in HubSpot and finding those leads that were dropped, seeing customers that either churned or have been there for a while that you can expand your services into. And there's usually a lot that's left on the table from customer success teams and sales teams in terms of those upsells and cross sells that just were never identified.
Wow, super interesting. And so you work mostly with service companies or SaaS, or what's like the ICP you've been having the most success with?
Yeah, it's really just services companies, B2B services, and it's the revenue range that's really important for us. So somewhere between 1 and 20 million. I know that's a broad range, but because we have a specific playbook and we've done this several times, we know that it works for that specific size company and that we can grow their revenue really fast with our methods.
Got it. So it sounds like a big part of this then was just that offer creation in the very beginning of landing on an offer that you can take into these different types of businesses, mostly B2B service businesses between $1 to $20 million with an offer that actually speaks to like one of their biggest pain points. So what was that process like and Client Ascension specifically? Like you mentioned, you talked to Daniel about it.
Yeah, it was watching Daniel's course and then going to his calls and asking questions, along with going to other coaches' calls like Dylan Rich and just talking to them about how I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm always working in the business, doing these custom projects and custom engagements. And it was just really hard to scale because of that. And so by talking to them about that, by coming back with what I thought were good offers from listening to the course, I was able to refine that based off of their input and come out with language and a message that was really impactful related to my target audience.
Got it. That's awesome, man. And so like let's take a step back as well and just go a little bit more into like how did you even find Client Ascension? And at what point in your business did you know that you needed or could benefit from something like Client Ascension?
Yeah, I think I was looking through Twitter and came across one of Daniel's posts and started following him and watching all of his videos on YouTube and all the different offers. And then I can't remember what the group was called, but it was some low ticket offer and course that I signed up for. And after going through that, I was like, oh, like you guys are the real deal. And then ended up joining Client Ascension after that.
That's awesome, man. And like when you joined Client Ascension, was like the idea to spin up a new offer or to grow what you already had there?
Yeah, it was to spin up a new offer. I felt like I just didn't have enough focus and repeatability in my messaging. I was relying heavily on inbound and referrals, which was fine. I was paying bills, but it just felt like it couldn't last for too long. It wasn't sustainable. So it was just me. If I had to take a vacation or wanted to take a vacation, I couldn't do it. And so I really was looking for that to narrow down my offering, to systematize it, and then just keep building from there. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And like what were some of those pivotal moments that like you went through in the beginning of the program? Like taking an offer from like 3 to 30K is incredibly impressive. Not just like your overall business. This is like a singular offer. So like when did you start to like get the validation that this was like a winning offer and it was gonna start to take off?
Yeah. I tried out a few different offers at the beginning of the course that didn't really stick when I was having sales calls. And so eventually, when I got to this offer and presented it to prospects, had to explain the how I was going to achieve those results, it really struck a chord and led to success on those sales calls. So I knew I had hit on something, and it basically just all built. I was being pulled in that direction after hitting the offer and the messaging and everything like that. So before it always felt like I was pushing a boulder up the hill and nothing was ever really working 100%. So,
Yeah.
right.
And what were some of like the outreach strategies that you learned in the program that helped you to like achieve that growth?
Yeah, I think tying the work to actual measurable outcomes and results was the biggest thing for me because when I would try to sell before consulting services, it was never tied to that outcome. And so it really devalued my positioning and the work I could do. So it really centered around the outcome rather than the process and just being an expert, which doesn't really do much from a sales perspective. So,
Yeah, I got it. And what about on the sales side of things? Was that something that like you had to make a lot of changes to like adjust on the sales side, or were you able to just jump right in on the sales side as well?
yeah, that's been a little bit of a process. I've always been kind of loose with my sales process. It's just a conversation, hop on a call and kind of figure out what's going on. And that's changed with Client Ascension in a good way because I couldn't get good data out of those types of conversations since they're all different. And with Coach David, I've come up with this structured approach and the structured pillars to walk through a conversation and make sure I'm communicating the value props correctly. So
Hmm.
I had no plan before, and now I have a plan, which is nice.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you've gotten like obviously just a lot of validation from the market on this, right? Like you've had success pretty much straight out of the gates, which is just super impressive, dude. Like the fact that you're able to go like going from 30 to 30K with one offer is like we don't hear about that very often. And what was the time frame just for perspective with, everyone else listening in?
It was August to February. So what was that six
Okay,
six?
6 months. So 3 to 30K with a brand new offer in 6 months, pretty much.
Yep.
That's insane. Unheard of. We're like actually unheard of. So
Yeah, thank you.
that's very impressive. And yeah, one of our biggest success stories. So congrats to you for that. What would you say to students in the program that are not seeing that level of success just yet? Like, what would you contribute some of your success to just being in the program and, going through it the way you have?
Yeah, I'd say the coaching calls are the most valuable thing. If you're not going to them, then leverage those. It is a gold mine of information, and being able to hop on a call with someone who's been there and done that, and maybe recently too, it'll offer perspectives that you can't get anywhere else. You can't get it from the course material or even from the Slack chats, in my opinion. Um, Being on the call and having those one-on-one conversations, it's an incredible value. I honestly am just like blown away every time I get off a call. There's some crazy insight that has changed the trajectory of my business. So
Yeah. That's awesome to hear, man. Yeah, and it's cool because like it's just a bunch of agency owners that hop on a weekly coaching call to talk about what's working in their agency right now.
yep.
Right. And like that's so valuable because there might be something that works now that didn't work before, or something that doesn't work now that was working before. And so you can just get like fully up to date insights as to like what's currently working in your market.
Yep.
So yeah, I love that, dude. That's awesome.
That's so true because I see some of the coaches as I listen to their calls and join their calls, they do change over time, which is necessary because the environment's changing all the time. And so that just shows that they're very tuned in to what's going on and how to continue to be successful because things don't stay the same. So
Exactly. Exactly, dude. So where do you go from here? Is this like an offer that you're going to continue to try to scale with? What's next?
yeah, right now the main issue is just capacity side for me, which is a really good place to be. And so I'll be joining more of your calls and hammering into your material more and more. I'm going through hiring, trying to operationalize the delivery more and more so we can stop pushing people away.
For sure, dude. Yeah, that is number one. I mean, that's the thing I help students with more than anything else is like enabling sales and marketing. with
Mm.
the proper systems on the fulfillment side. Because the biggest mistake that I see agency owners make is they have to turn off sales and marketing because they don't have capacity to fulfill. And it's like that should never happen. And if you can, implement some of the things that we teach on the fulfillment side, you'll be able to continue to scale sales and marketing and just ultimately keep growing, because you don't want to have this stop start approach to sales and marketing, because it just kills the momentum. And when you have momentum like you have now, going from 3 to 30K in just 6 months with a one offer, like you don't want to have to stop and start that, because you could lose it very easily and competitors can come into the market and all these other things. So you want to be able to capitalize on the fact that this is working right now and squeeze it as much as possible. And it's hard to do that if you don't have confidence in or even systems in place for fulfillment. So yeah, we should definitely talk and get on some coaching calls on Thursdays.
Yeah, I will definitely be on your next call. So
Awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you. I'm really excited and happy for you. Just the results you were able to get, and just the advice that you shared with everyone else in the program. It's like really just take advantage of what's right there in front of you. Learn from the coaches that hop on the weekly live coaching calls, and just put your head down and implement. And in 6 months, you can have similar results to what Dan saw with a brand new offer. So really cool case study interview, because that's unheard of, at least from the interviews I've done, where someone started an individual offer within their business and scaled it in the way you have. So congrats again. And as the last question here, where can our audience find you and follow you online? And again, learn more about your services, because those are, it's a great offer. So
yeah, mergeyourdata.com is my website. On LinkedIn, I'm Dan Saavedra. Those are the main places I post. YouTube, we have a channel too. Merge Your Data on there as well. So 3 main places.
awesome. Well, thanks again for taking the time to share your success story with us. And again, congrats on all the results, and hope to see you on my call so we can continue to level up the fulfillment side of things and create more capacity for you to just go out and bring in more clients. So
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
awesome. All right. Thanks, Dan. Keep crushing it.